welcome to this live Friday. Just gonna do a little bit of oracle, maybe some tarot. Sorry, guys. You know what I mean. I did do some lives last night as well. Some are more love. I went through every my decks. So if I'm not choosing the deck that you like today, go check out one of those previous readings because chances are you'll find one of the decks that you do like in one of those other videos. Okay. Right now, this is the Animal Oracle. All right. Ladybug, good luck. I think ladybugs are a nice thing to see during the summertime, especially. You are a bright energy. Let worry go and be happy here and now. Feel good about being a loving and colorful you. You bless the world with color and good luck. Okay. Oh, yeah. Sorry, guys. Those readings went kind of late, and then I was just out running around doing some errands and stuff. So, Cat, independent. You are a natural healer. Your intuition is strong. You don't have to go with the crowd. Life supports you in every way. Some of you may have cats as pets. All right. You may identify very independently as a cat does, moves, operates. You don't see a cat in a pack of cats, very often, right? Like if they're out on the street or something, it's a solo cat, right? Puffin, partnerships, very interesting. So and then we have partnerships. So maybe you'll bump into a cool cat this weekend, right? Accept yourself and your colorful personality. Feel confident about being you. You are a joy bringer. Let your community nourish and protect you. Ask for help. Teamwork will give you the best of results. And on the bottom of the deck, we have Eagle Mastery here. You are on a spiritual journey beyond the sky. Let go of past. So hard to do, right? Let go of the past, but we have no choice but to let go of the past, really. Because we're living each day in the future, technically, right? Let go of the past and soar. You are guided by the winds of spirit. Your wisdom inspires the world. Okay. So feel free to get inspired, right? Okay. I don't have a drink out here today, so my apologies. I was gonna get something beforehand and then I didn't do it. So, and we're live, so I'm not gonna make you wait. We're just gonna let it roll, right? Down the highway. Roll, roll. Down, 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 down. Down the highway. Yay, yay, okay? So, summertime, you may be doing some traveling, right? Putting those miles on the vehicles. Always carry some water with you in your vehicle. Don't dim to fit in. How are you dimming your light in order to fit in? Okay. So, as the sun shines brightly in the summer, so as you, collective, may be discovering where you can shine a little bit more brightly in terms of being true to yourself and your talents and abilities. Okay, so Awakening, energetic upgrades, a new way of being, integration. Okay, so for some of you, collective, this independence may be the awakening that you needed. Because maybe you're, a solo type person and used to doing things on yourself. And here, this is awakening you and saying, this is exactly what you've needed. This, all of that has been preparing you so you can receive this, right? Okay. Crumbling, what are you clinging on to? Okay, so maybe in order to bring in this new partnership, you might need to let go of an old partnership. So again, letting go of that past, especially if it's in a love relationship. So holding space for new people to meet, right? Not just the same old routine of so and so that maybe you thought that's you thought that's all there was, but now you can see it's kind of the cracks have already, it's what I mean, like the truth is out, right? So it's like, why are you clinging to the memory of what, right? Sometimes I watch these readings and they'll say, "Oh, well, this person, sorry, they let you go for somebody else." And it's like, well, who are they even talking about? That could be anybody, right? So that's the thing, collective, is if this person wasn't like really there for you in any aspect of life, it's kind of like, yeah, uh, clinging to what? What's left? What would I even cling to if I had to cling to something? It may have nothing to do with that person, right? At this point, because we've realized what they were made of. And it was something that we didn't want to cling to. So I feel like, collective, that might be why you got this partnership card here, because you're opening up to new ways of being with others, and it's more of this partnership level, not somebody thinking that you need to be like codependent on them or whatever it is, right? Like, it's not that suffocating, it's a open and growing type thing. Yeah, it says here, teamwork will give you the best results. So yeah, and yeah. Warrior woman, have you answered your deepest calling? So what is the mastery that you seek, collective? Okay. Have you really tapped into that yet? Okay. So let's go ahead and get some tarot. This shoulder has not, I mean, I'm not going to get into it right now. Anyway, when you're in the hospital and you have an injury, you think they would like x-ray you or something. But that's only when you're on certain floors of the hospital, right? So when you're on other floors of the hospital, they don't give an F what you say. Especially when they're being managed by corrupt professionals. I mean, how many hospitals have been sued over the years in hospital system? So, it's not out of people be like, oh, they're not supposed. Yeah, of course they're not supposed to, but they do it anyway. Yeah. What I want to know is, how do their records look? Because when they were shoving medicines down my throat that I didn't consent to, they still had to chart that. Yeah. Is it still, how long do they have to keep those records by chance? Especially if they were needed to be subpoenaed by a court. Just out of curiosity. Anybody know out there in the chat today wanna take a gander at that one for me? If my hobby was suing people, I could. But I have other things to do, like come out here and give you guys messages, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I'm alive to tell the tale. I didn't sign any NDAs with anybody for any payouts for the abusive practices that they've performed in some of these hospitals. I really feel like it's down to it comes down to whoever the head doctor is, and like at that particular site and stuff. I mean, because not all of those places treat you the same way. Because the first time I actually sought help, they didn't have any room in the town that I was at, so I got transferred into another town that had a facility open that I could get treatment at, and they were great. And everybody there was like, "Yeah, just take these medicines, and you're going to be going home soon." And it was just. Whereas this other place, it's do what I say, and I'm going to hold you here like you're a prisoner. And then I will threaten to involuntarily commit you on top of it. For absolutely not. For talking at the same speed as Jim Cramer from, CNBC, Fox Business. Okay, I'm not even joking. This is the maniacal power trip that some of these doctors are on, and they exercise it. Even some of the nurses confided in me, and they were like, because there's nothing to do in there but like watch TV, sit in your room. You can't have your cell phone, right? And then or walk around the unit, right, in the hospital. And even some of the nurses confided in me and was like, "Oh yeah, so and so's been in here X amount of times." And I was like, "Really?" They're like, "Yeah." And even they even thought it was weird, because it's like, okay, maybe that person had some like developmental things, maybe that they could use some assistance with, like, a lot of folks do. I mean, that's not unusual. But otherwise, I was carrying on a perfectly coherent conversation with the person, and they were talking about their diet in there and how they like to eat the chicken, because it's good protein and things of that nature, which they did have really good chicken strips in there, I have to say. You know what I mean? They weren't them skimpy ones. Some of them had a little bit extra brain in it, but Anyway, let's get back into the tarot here. Look at that. Yeah. Yeah, talk about taking no prisoners. Queen of Swords. Libra, Gemini, and Aquarius. But, if any lawyers out there are bored and want to, case to practice some law, isn't that what lawyers are supposed to do? Practice the law. So funny. I even know lawyers, and nobody from my Facebook, nobody that's viewed my YouTube has reached out to me at all. And it's like, really? That's interesting. But hey, records don't lie though, folks. And what's even funnier is my actual doctor, my real doctor who's in my insurance. So like the last time this hospital got a hold of me, they were doing all this stuff with medicines. They didn't even notify my primary care physician. They didn't even call her. They didn't even have my social security number right. I mean, I'm talking maniacal behavioral doing. Yeah. I'm a U.S. citizen. Isn't that right? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Over here minding my business, reading my tarot cards on my, you know what I mean? Going and getting my groceries like everybody else. I mean, I saw one dude the other day at the grocery store, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember him because it's a co-ed ward, the one that I'm talking about with that where I'm making these allegation, whatever. Look it up. Look up the records, folks. We have a whole ghost mental ward on the southwest end of our town where people died and were probably straight up murdered back in the day. Okay? Yeah, it was the state hospital. Okay? Do you know what I'm saying? Some of these attitudes towards people and practices haven't changed, right? So when they're standing there right in front of your face telling you, you put this pill down or I'm going to write you up and say that you're not cooperating, and then that's going to go against you, right? And then say, well, this patient won't take her medicine. I think they need to be involuntarily, right? They'll say some bullshit like that. Well, excuse the fuck out of me. I didn't want to have to take a 600 milligram dose of lithium. Yeah, that's what they fucking gave me, and I shat my ass off 25 times that night. Did they document it when I was at the nurse's station? Saying, hey, y'all are always asking about my bowel movements. You need to document another one. Because I am not joking, folks. That's what that medicine did. I didn't consent to that medicine. Oh, the immigrants. What's happening to the immigrants? I'm a citizen, folks. Okay? If it was really, if you were really coming to check on me, or if there was really a noise complaint, where's the write up to say, ma'am, stop, keep it down, right? I mean, nothing. No, but then they're just gonna hospitalize you, hold you against your will for 5 to 7 days, keep you from work, keep you from paying your bills. Yeah. And they're like, well, you can have somebody bring your computer in here and you can do it from inside. I'm like, no. Think I'm going to type in all my passwords while you guys are watching me on some fucking camera somewhere? Mark someone else stupid. I'm done. You've heard that before on this channel. Yeah, loving yourself. Loving yourself. Knowing you're smarter than these morons and their maniac power trips. Okay? And they want to call themselves doctors and nurses. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, last night I went to a concert. I had 2 drinks. I probably would have had another if like the line wasn't so long. Because I mean, you sweat it out in like 2 seconds anyway. What's the water sign within you, collective? Right? Oh my God, King of Cups. So again, Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces. This could be an emotional connection with somebody that you're building, and you're being encouraged to let go of whatever past situation. So if you are somebody who is currently separated from somebody, going through a divorce or whatever, I feel like this is like around the corner for you. Okay. Okay. Yeah, 7 of Pentacles. Yeah, collective. I feel like you are, yeah, you're straightforward and you're willing to work for something. Whereas these other people just want it, like when I was in there, it's like, well, yeah, come in here and we'll just sit and observe you because we have nothing else to do. Really? Really? You don't have any? Have you turned on the news lately? All these people murdering their fucking spouses and doing crazy things and poisoning people, but you want to observe me, a law-abiding citizen who, I mean, the worst thing I'd ever been arrested for was arrested for drug paraphernalia. You guys have seen me smoke my weed out of here. And it could be CBD, it could be THC, it's weed, it's cannabis product. Call the cops, everybody! Right? We're all freaking out, man. Right? I'm not joking, folks. I dare ya, like on Undercover Boss, just don't do anything real like dangerous and stupid to get in there. Do you know what I'm saying? See how they treat you. You ever see that the kid from the Wonder Years? Uh Kevin Arnold is the name of the character. Anyway. Um but he did that. It was like a made for TV movie and he played a kid that was disabled, and they did kind of like how they were actually treated in some of these group homes and things. And it was after that that like there were some reforms and stuff, laws like changed, like, you know, just basic human dignity stuff, like, giving somebody a warm shower versus hosing them down like a freaking animal. Like, what? you know so yeah. Again, I find it fascinating that this hospital never contacted my primary care physician, even though she was clearly stated on my insurance card, which I had on my possession when but of course you can't have your possession, they lock your possessions up. So, you know what I mean? Once it's behind there, they could say, well, I can't find, you know what I mean? I'm just saying, this is what actually happens. So, when people think they have control over situations, sometimes they do not. No, they do not. Anyway, what else is going on with this new moon here, right? Like, it's like I wish I was making it up, but I'm not. And I'm sorry, but I wonder if some of them doctors aren't taking some of that medicine themselves, okay? Like one of the ones I was prescribed, one of the side effects, the positive side effects was that you could still get it up. And I'm like, well, I don't have one of those, so why would I need a medicine that stimulates that? And no, I'm not going to consent to a physical exam to let them know that I don't need it for that particular reason. Do you know what I mean? And they're just like, here, take this. You have to take this. You wonder why they show so many of the movies? They like stick the pills like down here or under their tongue and stuff, and stuff them in the mattress. Yeah, it's because they're drugging people. you know? And again, this was completely different than my other experience where they're just like, this is for this is for this, blah, blah, blah. You'll be going home soon. You know what I mean? Completely different type of experience. So, you know. Hmm. See, this has been on my mind. Because there's people that do these things because nobody stopped them yet. Okay? Right? A time for healing. Yes. I was around some friends the other day, and I don't know why I was picking up on this energy, somebody feeling like waiting for the other shoe to drop. Kind of like that whole Job thing, right? Because sometimes it feels like that, doesn't it? It's like, what now? Okay. But this is a time for you to understand that by showing gratitude, by tackling your challenges head on, right, with mastery, not just leaving it up to other people to figure out, right? That this time coming forward is going to be on an easier slope for you, okay, going forward. All right. So don't, you can kind of breathe out some of that anxiety, right? For some of us, it's kind of difficult because it's like, oh, everything's going good. What's something's gonna, right? I mean, I've literally been diagnosed with PTSD. That's kind of like one of the symptoms, right? Because when you've lived through traumatic experience, you're just like, oh man, it's just you're something. You're just waiting for something, right? Um, but this is saying it doesn't have to be that way. All right. And since you've been so forthcoming about how you want to get through life, period, this is going to be similar. Okay. It just maybe has not manifested for you in that way. So this is, a good time for the new moon to say, yes, I am entitled to healing. I am entitled to putting behaviors of past people behind me. I am entitled, right? You know what I mean? So, you know, it's kind of like, it would be like if you were going to some family reunion or something and everybody was like, I don't know, wanted to point out some embarrassing thing that happened to you like 20 years ago, and you're just like, yeah, okay. And your point is, do you know? Like sometimes people bring this stuff up just to like try and like see if you'll still take the bait and be like their little stepping stone or little chew toy for the afternoon. Do you know what I mean? And um yeah, I think they're getting surprised because you're choosing this healing. You're just yeah, and exactly this don't dim to fit in. You're like, yeah, maybe I'm not like everybody else and I'm okay with that. Accepting yourself for who you are. That's part of healing as well, right? Okay. Okay. Your dreams need a practical plan. Okay. So, yeah, what are you manifesting for your future? Okay. What is that abundance going to look like for you? Um, and when it says dreams here, maybe you literally are having a dream where it says, oh, you're supposed to open this kind of business, blah, blah, blah. And then you're just like, well, yeah, that's great and everything, but like maybe you don't know anything about that particular business. Well, this is saying now's the time. Go make yourself a business plan, right? Just as you would approach your grocery list or your car repair or whatever, do that same type of way, right? um grab a pen and paper, start brainstorming, start jotting down ideas, okay, things like that. Meditate and contemplate, okay. So they call it when darkness falls, right? So you could be clinging on to this darkness, but every 12 hours, right, darkness will fall, right? It goes away because we start to see that light, all right? So that's going to give you time to meditate and contemplate on your next steps forward, okay? Again, this might be with a partner as well. I'm getting that heavy message for somebody. So you might be partnered already as well. Okay. Okay. And yeah, commitment is being tested. like, yeah, too, and I had the right of way at the stop sign, but like it looked like they were gonna go, and so I stopped, and I would kind of was like, "Are you gonna go?" But then they weren't going, so I went. But then they were like right up on my tail, and I'm like, okay. And we're just on this side street. It wasn't even like, you know what I mean? It was like an business access road. And so I put on my turn signal to turn into this parking lot. And then I see the dude like angrily shaking the middle finger at me. Like, really? And then I see that they had just turned into the gas station next door. It's like, okay, all that and a hubbub rush to get into the freaking, you know what I'm saying? Okay. Anyway, I took a little snapshot of their work van. I don't think whoever owns that business would appreciate whoever's driving around in that vehicle, way unnecessarily flipping people after riding their tail, after not obeying the rules of the road to begin with. So, figure it out, sir. Maybe you need to get your license checked. It was one of those things where it's like, I wasn't going to let that, I was going to take that personally. I was like, obviously, this dude has a problem, you know, and it had to do with getting to the gas station quick enough. Maybe he had, well, here's the thing, too. And there was this one fast food establishment. I thought, well, maybe they're going into there, but no, they were going into the gas station. So maybe that's where he prefers to dump off. I don't know. Maybe it was an emergency dumping situation. Oh my God. Anyway. So that is that. Please do try to stay cool over the weekend. I know it is very sticky and tempers are obviously short, right? But I would advise not flipping off people in traffic if you don't have to, right? I mean, but hey, um, I guess that means he knew I was there, right? So if he did end up clipping my bumper as close as he was following, so he obviously knew that I was still there. Anyway, you know. You know what I mean? Like when people start riding your tails, it doesn't ever give you any incentive to go faster, right? And I mean, it was like on a road that was like connecting parking lots. It's like, what? I'm not going to be going 45 miles an hour. It's a parking lot. Like people are going 20. Get a clue. I think the speed limit was even like 25 on that side road. So it was like, what again? So I think he was just mad that I gave him a chance to like go and he didn't take it. And then since I ended up turning, then he got pissed. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, snooze you lose, pal. Snooze you lose. So, all right. I'm going to get out of this reading for the day. Yeah. So you may have had your commitment tested, but with this new moon collective, the new start that you've been dreaming of has actually arrived. Okay. If nobody told you it's here, right? And you're gonna be like, wait a second, I wasn't prepared. Well, okay. What did I say earlier? Get that notebook, get that pen, start jotting down ideas. Boop, 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 boop. Right? Okay. Yeah, it's possible. It's possible. And just because Dr. So and so, right, doesn't know what the F he's doing, right? Because he doesn't know you like you know you, right? Okay. In fact, they don't even know who your real doctor is because they won't even call them. Think about that. Think about that. The logic behind that. I said something to my doctor too the last time because I got a referral for a colonoscopy. And then they said it could go through that hospital system. And I was like, I would prefer the other one because I said, over there, they want to appoint themselves my doctor, and she's like, oh, I understand. She's like, well, I've had that experience with the other hospital system as well, which my doctor's through a third hospital system. I like to with the independent folks, right? Anyway, singing like a bird out there. Slight breeze, but very, very sticky. It's actually supposed to be like the break in our heat wave, but like we haven't gotten any rain yet out of it. So hopefully that doesn't just pass over us, you know what I mean? Anyway. So stay cool out there. Like I said, keep some water in your car. I do for my dog, especially because sometimes when we go to the parks, there are not always water pumps or water fountains available. Some parks have them. I would say like 80% are turned on. You know what I mean? That I've like tried. Because that's a lot easier than carrying around a whole bunch of bottled water for the dog. You know what I mean? Or filling up, whatever. But I have recently been carrying some bottled water around because it's so oppressive, you know what I mean? And she has to have a drink after being out. Um, which I think she enjoys it more than me. I'm like, can we get out of the sun, please? All right. Until next time, please do manifest wisely. Bye bye.